Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Commander Clash podcast, where the Commander Clash crew talks all things Commander. And this week, we're going to be talking about cards that are so good, they're actually kind of bad. These are cards that are really strong, but might get you killed if you play them. So that's going to be our topic for today. Basically, think of Richard and his take on like every card in the Commander. This is like the ultimate Richard podcast, the Richard cards.
Richard homage.
The Richard's homage for sure. Before we get to it, though, we got a crew to introduce. Kicking things off with Phil, Brewer's Kitchen. How's things going today, Phil?
Hey-o. I stopped playing some of these cards because they got me killed.
But some of them are just so much fun. I still play them and then just die. But it's, sometimes it's worth it. We also have another co-host in Krim, the Asian Avenger. How's it going today, Krim?
It's going well. I'm quite the opposite of Phil because these cards get me killed. I love playing them.
Yes.
And then, of course, Tomer, Budget Commander. What's up, Tomer?
Sometimes you just want to be the villain, you know? Sometimes you want
to
you want to grow out a mustache to twirl it as you drop down these cards and you cackle and you say, come and get it. You know?
So before we get to our cards today, we got a couple of sponsors. Our show today is brought to you by Foil Armor. Do you have problems with your foils curling? Well, Foil Armor is the ultimate solution to flattening your foils. It's a two-way humidity pack that you simply put inside an airtight container with your cards, and Foil Armor will absorb and release moisture, making your cards completely flat. Put it back in your storage box to keep your cards flat forever, and you can head over to foilarmor.com and use the code MTGGoldfish to get 15% off. And our show is also brought to you by Card Conduit, the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. If you ever get tired of the hassles of buy listing, you can skip them with Card Conduit. You can use their curated service where you send in as many cards as you want with a buy list value of $1 or more and pay just a 5% service fee. And if you want to do a bit of work, you can use their sorted service where you list and sort your cards in advance and pay just a 2% fee. Either way, you're going to get a detailed report with the results and a fast payment once your order is processed. And you can even get another 10% off by heading over to cardconduit.com/MTG Goldfish. Card Conduit, it's the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. So thank you to our sponsors for supporting the show. And now it's time for the comment of the week. So last week's podcast was a ranking of dragons, and our top comment comes from @JN, and it says in quotes, "We need a dragon for the thumbnail. Which one do you think would get people to click?" And then Tomer, check this shit out. I don't know if you saw the thumbnail. It doesn't make as much sense without seeing the thumbnail, but it has a very good dragon impression from Tomer on it. Tomer, we're absolutely crushing it as in dragon mode. Also,
it's like a changeling looking like a dinosaur thinking it's a dragon.
It's like Tomer's dragon deck, yeah.
Dinosaurs are just dragons without wings and they can't breathe fire. Okay, they're not as cool. Come at me, dinosaur players.
Also is honorary comment of the week. This one I didn't know if it counted because it's technically from one of us, but it was the most upvoted comment. And this one comes from Tomer.
Oh God.
Brahmavici32 says, Tomer here. The average of a D20 is 10.5. I don't know why I said 11.5. Please don't revoke my D&D badge.
I was horrified to find out that I said 11.5. I've only been playing D&D for over 15 years. So
yeah, but I think your badge is safe. I think you're good. So anyway, let's talk about some cards that are so good they actually might kind of be bad. And let's kick things off with Tomer. Tomer, what's a card that's so good it's bad or might get you killed?
So this is a card that I played recently on Clash, but also I was at Commander Night yesterday, and somebody played a Mesmeric Orb, and it got them immediately killed. It was very, very funny. So Mesmeric Orb is a 2-mana colorless artifact that says whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller mills a card. I would put this in the top 5 best mill cards in the entire format. Because not only is it an incredibly efficient way of milling, not just you, but your entire table, but also the way the trigger works is it triggers for every single permanent that untaps. So let's say you have you tap out on your turn and you have 8 permanents that are tapped down, like your lands and whatever else. And then on your turn, you untap all 8 of those permanents. The Mesmeric Orb will trigger for every single one individually, and that's important for certain cards that care about you milling one or more things. It will give you one benefit. So, for example, a very good card recently that came out, Colossal Grave Reaver, says whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put one of them onto the battlefield. So if you have a card that says mill 10 all at once, then you can only get one creature out of the 10 that got milled. But Mesmeric Orb is mill for every single one. So if you have like 10, I don't know, you mill 10 and you see 5 creatures milled individually, you get all of them. And that's why Mesmeric Orb is so powerful. But people do not like being milled. People do not like being milled. We've seen it many, many times on Commander Guide. People are like, they do not like it. And I saw on Commander Night, Rodrigo played Mesmeric Orb just to mill himself. He doesn't care about milling anybody else, just to mill himself. He literally got aggroed to death by one person because that person was missing a lane drop, the lane drop number 4 for like 5 turns in a row, and he milled 14, and 9 of them, the first 9 cards were lanes, and then he didn't draw a lane, and he's like, all right, Alpha Strike. And I was like, that's so good, man. What do you guys think? Do you think it's too scary?
First
It
off,
definitely
those cards are random. I don't know. That's so much. Like, those cards are random. Just say it. I love it. I love this card. I love when you played it. I was a big fan, so I knew it was going to be a fun time.
You think
You
it
just know you're
I
gonna
build your
get to this, so.
D-Spark, if I remember. Minor spoilers.
Well, I was only mad about the D-Spark because we had some kind of problematic permanent. I was like, oh, Tomer, I can answer that right there. See it there. I went to the graveyard. But at the
It's
same
random.
time, it's such a fun time. You know, it's like a miserably fun time.
I feel like it's probably played too much because of the heat that it draws. Like, I don't know if I think it's really easy to throw in any deck that's either about milling your opponents or self-milling, because like you said, it just mills so many cards and it's so repeatable. But every time I've seen it showing up in a game, at least one person is not happy about it. Like someone, a lot of times it's me, because I'm drawing so many cards that I'm actually just like, oh my god, this thing's gonna kill me in like 4 turns. Like I can't have this stay on the battlefield. So it is a really frightening card. So I think if you're like a dedicated mill deck and you're just like embracing being mill, I think you still play the card. Like, sure, people are going to be annoyed by it, but your whole deck is, if people just don't like mill, or they're going to be annoyed by your entire deck. But if you're just playing like some light self-mill graveyard type strategy, I almost wonder if you should downgrade it to something like a cash grab effect or something that maybe it doesn't mill as many cards, but it's not going to draw as much heat at the table. So I kind of in the middle on that one. I think there's decks where I still want it, but I do think if you just jam it in a deck and you aren't ready to back it up and like withstand the heat, you might end up losing because you played it rather than winning because of it.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
it
I mean,
for
did you
mill
lose?
decks.
Did you really lose, Seth? Or did you go out having a good time? You know?
I'm not
Like,
not gonna spoil anything
I don't know.
here.
I mean, it's really funny, guys. Have you ever played against Mesmeric Orb? It's really funny.
So I think it's very good at milling yourself, but then you kind of mill the opponents just to rile them up. Like if you mill your opponents, then it's so good at milling your opponents that you can at least finish them off. This will mill like 60 cards. And they are just furious, but so self-mill, it's a little scary. If you're playing mill, you gotta play this, right? You mean, you're already milling. You're already
You want to know,
drawing
Phil?
some aggro there.
I think the best thing a mill player can do is play this, not win, die, but then look at the rest of the table and how they have to play on a tight schedule pretty much for the rest of the game. You don't have anybody going, I'm going to deploy my draw engine and take, like all these card draws, right? It's like, I got to go now because I have 6 cards left.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I drew cards all the way
Pressure
through.
the table. And also,
Seth is the exception where he will still deploy his draw engine.
We're still drawing cards. What's the
Truly.
worst that could happen?
do you think we dislike this card more because we don't really have a dedicated graveyard player at the table? Because I feel like if you're playing any sort of graveyard strategy deck, wouldn't you be like thrilled that somebody drops down a Mesmeric Orb for you?
Oh yeah.
That's a good point. That might be part of it. Although I actually think we probably hate this card less than most people because I always find myself surprised at just how much people hate mill. If you just like talk to random new players or like casual players, it's one of the most hated archetypes, and it's never really made sense to me because I don't really hate mill. Like mill, whatever. Like it's just another way to win a game or play a game. Like it doesn't bother me personally. So I think we actually might be less upset about it than other people. I think other people, I know Krim said earlier it's random, and it is random, but it still hurts as you gotta flip over like 10 cards and you're seeing there's my cool dragon, there's my cool bomb, oh my sweet thing, and you gotta put them one by one into the graveyard. Like it is really demoralizing. So
But you are showing off your really cool dragon. You're
you get
really
to see
cool.
it. You're
Whatever.
back.
I feel like it's good content for at least for like Clash or whatever, just because it's like we get to show more of our deck and be like, oh, look at what these cards I put into my
It's
deck.
actually one of the cool things I would have been able to done if there wasn't a Mesmeric
No,
Orb.
you
It
draw
would have been
something
so
else.
cool.
Deck fitting. It's deck.
Like the only time I hate this card is like if I'm playing a gimmicky combo deck, I really don't want you to see my combo pieces.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like that is like just like you peek behind the curtain and I'm like, oh no, you know, I'm trying to play Cauldron, and like I put one of the Cauldron pieces in the graveyard and then I start to sweat, you know.
All right, let's move on to the next card. Krim, give us another card that's so good it might be bad.
Oh, these cards are so good that like as soon as I see them, I'm going right for you. It's either Teleportation Circle or Conjurer's Closet.
Oh,
Because
Interesting.
these cards, you may not think it, right? Because that's exactly how these cards look. They're just this subtle card that's, I'm going to blink one thing. Blinking one thing, if I see this, your deck is doing something that is going to take a long time, right? You're going to get a lot of value. And at some point, it's going to be so hard to get, like, it's every blink deck, right? But there's so many times where this card comes out and it draws out the game. You can't quite kill them, and you know they're just outvaluing you every step of the way. So these cards are usually a piece of a bigger puzzle, right? And these pieces are always something that I think you got to just go for it, right? Because at some point you'll flicker so many things that'll gain you life, draw you cards that you won't sweat it, right? Like unless the blinking player is at 1, I think their health is too high. So I will always go for this. And by nature, just anything that's an enchantment is already kind of hard to deal with unless you're green, right? So just naturally, if it's an enchantment, or in black. Well, yeah. Sure. But you know, like you're taking 5 life to kill these, right? But like these things are just by nature being an enchantment hard to remove. So I stapled on the blink effect, I'm gonna most likely have to get you.
This is spoken like such a true Grixis player. You're like,
Yeah.
these enchantments, man, they're so hard to deal with. It's like, this is how much Krim does not play Celestia.
Undefeatable, that teleportation.
To be honest, he didn't say
You're
the one
telling
that's
me if
hardest
you
to
see
remove
this,
there.
you're letting me keep these?
I mean, Thassa does the same, and it's even indestructible.
Oh yeah,
Thassa.
Thassa too.
At some point,
All of
Yeah.
those, all of those cards are together. Like they're all together.
I kind of feel like these cards are kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to yuck people, but if
No, these cards are
kind of
just
mid.
bad. They're bad. They're just,
Yeah.
I love
Like-
blink decks. I play a lot of blink decks.
Yeah.
I typically do not play these cards because I think they're just not especially good. I think they're too slow and too clunky to really play. Not that there's anything wrong with playing them. Like, of course, if you want to play them, play them. They do fit the theme of a blink deck. But I see what Krim is saying. Like, these cards, if you play one of these, it is going to send the message that you're a blink player and that you're probably going to have these like big dirtly value-y turns because that's kind of what most decks that are playing these cards are going to do. So I could see if you're someone that like doesn't want to sit through a bunch of blink turns that maybe you target the person with the teleportation circle, even though the teleportation circle itself I don't think is really a problem, but I could see that like sending a message that like maybe I'm the problem because I'm playing the blink deck. So from that perspective, it makes sense to me. But I don't think the cards themselves are that good.
I kind of feel like if you
kinda-
drop like a Displacer Kitten, I'm just like, okay, now we're dead. Like
Yes.
this is over.
yeah, this is so
then
good.
this feels like if you played this instead of Displacer Kitten, I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
It could have been so much worse. But yeah, I do agree that like it does signify that it's a blink deck. And that in itself is a problem because I don't want the 4-hour game where you're killing me with a 2/2 Mull Drifter, you know? Like, just please, just This is just like a
What's wrong
PSA
with that,
for like
Kilmer?
this is a plea. I'm asking Blink players out there, please just throw finishers in it. Throw a Cathar's Crusade. Throw something that you can finally end the game. Just not blink your spirited companion ad nauseum. Just please end it.
I mean,
You just
I
gotta
don't do it
blink
on-
until you get to the Thassa's Oracle win. That's
I will
I
aggro
do
the
it on
Blink
Clash,
player
but I
unless
do
they
play a lot
prove
of
me that.
I do play a lot of Blink in Historic Brawl because then I don't have to justify it to 3 humans.
Yeah.
I kind of get what Krim is saying there. I play Yorion as a companion, and if I have
Oh, God.
Teleportation Circle with Yorion,
Mm.
it's gonna be a long one on my end. And yeah, if I see the opponent dropping this and they don't, so they usually get immediate value because they have a 3-drop that they can blink. But then every turn they play something bigger and then blink this, and then it's a Solitude, and then it's like a Primordial at some point. So I kind of get how these. They don't back up how scary they get over time, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. Although I do
Yeah,
play
if you drop this,
Thassa,
I'm killing you. I'm
Especially-
focusing you down.
Yeah.
Teleportation Circle giving you the cute option of blinking an artifact as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the ring.
that's
very
really
cool.
annoying.
And it's also true that Blink decks often get to like a place of inevitability where like if you let them go long enough, they're just going to draw so many cards and have so many things that you're probably not going to be able to break through like their engine that they've got set up. So I think maybe that's another reason you kind of do have to kill that person, because if you don't take the opportunity when you can before they get things set up, you might not be able to later when you really want to.
This is half playing a combo because of those exact what you just said there, Seth. You are half playing your combo out, representing that you're all in for a long one.
It's just funny that I don't think these cards are that strong. It's just that it signifies a deck that I find an archetype that I would very much aggro against.
You don't
Yeah.
think
If you just tell me you have finishers, I will be like, okay, you're fine, you're chill.
Infinite turns?
Cards
I don't
are
want
so
to. I don't want to die to 2/2s, man. Just kill me with something faster, please.
These cards are so good, guys. They're not obvious. I swear, these are absurdly powerful. Not to where they need to be banned.
All right, let's move on. I got a card for you, which I think really fits the too good, so good that it's bad, and it's a card that I love, and a lot of people play, and it's a game changer. Bolas is Citadel. So Bolas is Citadel, 6-mana legendary artifact. You can look at the top card of your library. You can play cards off the top of your library by paying life equal to the mana value rather than the mana cost, and then you can sack 10 things to make each opponent lose 10 life. Not really the big payoff for this card, but essentially you get to play things for free off the top of your deck by paying life rather than their mana cost. In Bolas' Citadel, it is absurdly powerful. Like, you play a Bolas' Citadel, you can play essentially as many cards as you want off the top of your deck until you hit 2 lands in a row, which is the easiest way to fizzle the Bolas' Citadel chain, or until you run out of life. In Bolas' Citadel, often the first turn it comes down, in some situations it ends up winning the game immediately. If you have enough setup and enough top deck manipulation, you might be able to win the game right away with it, or if you just get really lucky. But a lot of times, if you let the Bolas' Citadel player untap the next turn and they still have Citadel with all their mana available to like do what they need to do, they're probably going to go deep enough in their deck that they're going to be able to win the game somehow. So I think that Bolas' Citadel is a card that it's so incredibly strong, in the risk of the game just coming to an end because of this card is high enough that you almost have to aggro the Bolas' Citadel player. Plus, because Bolas' Citadel is going to cost you so much life to play your spells, one of the easiest ways to minimize the impact of it is to make sure the Bolas' Citadel player's life total is pretty low, because then they're not going to be able to cast that many spells. So I think the combination of it losing you so much life and the fact that the easiest way to play around it from the other side is to attack that person and make sure their life total is low. I think this is one of the cards that it's incredibly powerful and it can just win you the game, but it's also very likely to make people kill you before you get a chance to win the game with it.
I've never gotten a chance to aggro somebody after this plays. Like
They just
play
win
out,
the
right?
turn it comes
It's
down.
usually you're done, right? Like they're gonna
If
go
you hit like
right.
Sensi's top or something, and then
Yeah.
after that, that's like the go-to.
If you have the right pieces, yeah, you can go infinite with it.
But
I play
like,
flaming in a lot of decks. I'll just jam in a black deck because I like it, but trusting my
Yeah.
Grain Merchant or whatever is gonna get me out of it.
I've seen people like win and some people not like fizzle because they hit too many lands or whatever.
This is
And then,
just
yeah,
too
well,
greedy
one
for
ring but
this.
6
I
mana,
can't.
right?
Yeah,
Kinda.
it's the
Without
wrong
the
It doesn't give you
everything
it doesn't give
in
you one. fog for an entire
no
turn
protection.
cycle. I think this one is like I think it's still worth jamming it just because you get so much immediate value. But it is something that like you better back it up, because if you can't like either win or like wipe the board, people have to kill you because
Right.
you can't just untap with this.
And
I guess if you're
end
a
up
life gain deck, then it's like so consistent that like even if you have the combo, I would be greedy enough to dig for it and say I either die or you guys die. So in a life
Yeah.
gain deck, I would play this and say, yeah, this is just insanely strong. Sorry guys, but at least you don't die. Because I'm way too greedy. As long as there's a fetch or something, I'm gonna crack it. I'm gonna play whatever I got there until I fizzle and then die. But there's a
do
very
not.
cool old border version of this. So only time they got artifact old border correct.
This is this is
I-
actually a special one.
I don't play this one only because it's a game changer now. I've been building heavily
Yeah.
into brackets, and because
Mm.
it's one of my 3 game changers, and I don't really ever play at a 4, I just never include this.
You usually play
It's
at
just
3.
not worth it. There's so many other win conditions.
But think of all the cards you can draw, Krim.
Oh, but Stinging Study exists. There's so many other ways.
What do you
you
think-
can get around that.
What would you guys say? I want to go around the table. What do you guys think is more scary? Bolas' Citadel, if you see it played, or Necropotence?
Oh, definitely.
They're the
Citadel.
same.
Yeah.
Necropotence, I guess, but like
I guess Necropotence is stronger, but Citadel
Really?
is scarier, I think. Necropotence is just, it's disgusting, and they probably win. But Citadel is like direct feedback of how broken it is.
At least
I feel
Necro
like
makes
it's
you pay mana for your cards. Like, yeah, you can draw a ton of cards, but you still have to spend mana to deploy them. Citadel just does it all. It gives you the cards and the mana to cast them, assuming you got life, which I think they're both very strong, but I would actually pick Citadel.
but 1 life to just get a card is so much better than like
Get the
paying
card
8
later,
life to
though.
play a
Can't you-
spell. Like you like, I don't know. I still think that Necropotence comes down at 3 mana, so that's why I like it more than anything
Mhm.
else.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
also
being
true.
only costing you 1 life to just keep digging through your deck is kind of nuts.
What was your pick, Tomer?
I
Necro or
didn't-
Citadel?
I don't know, actually. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, still trying to figure it out. Yeah,
They're both just very good, but
They're
they
both
both
good.
they're both so different in different ways,
I mean, Necro's another get you killed card too. I think really, like,
Yeah.
you better win the
That's
game
why I
right
was
away,
thinking
or else
about
you're
it.
gonna
Roll down the
die.
list.
So.
Yeah, you gotta kill the Necro. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of people like to draw cards, Phil, why don't you give us a card that's so good it's bad?
All right. I got an example, but I think it's probably the best example because so the example is you play half of a combo. But the problem with this combo piece, it would be so cool to play it for value, and that's Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. I would love to be able to play this, tap it, copy Arisen for whatever, but the problem is, as soon as you drop this and you don't have a Zealous Conscript or something to finish the table off, they're gonna kill you. Understandably, because it's actually kind of good for value. So it's 5 mana, which is a lot, I guess. Haste, tap it to create a token of target creature, a copy, non-legendary. Kind of relevant, actually. And then you sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Best case, this end step never happens because you copy something that untaps Kiki or anything else. There's a lot of combos with this. And
I mean,
that's
the old
problem.
Zealous Conscripts Kiki twin combo,
the Resto
right?
Angel.
Yeah,
There's
Restoration,
There's
so
also like
many.
Coercive Pirate that does it too.
Mastermind.
Anything that-
so many.
Just whatever, yeah. And that's why I think this is the perfect example of if you play one half of a combo for value, which I would love to do with this. I think I had it in my Jolly Balloon Man, which makes sense because the deck is built around this effect, but I never cast it, and I had a Zealous Conscript as well. I'm not here to play games. But this one is just too good for casual play, I think.
Yeah,
I
unless
mean,
you're
I
unless
still
you're
jam
comboing
it.
with it, then I think
Yeah.
do
No,
you
a combo,
do you
yeah.
you gotta have the combo in your deck though, right, Tomer? Do
Oh
you
yeah,
jam it
no,
without
no.
having the combo? Okay.
I don't think I don't think I would just play it by itself.
People
Like,
expect you have
it's
the
still a
combo anyway.
combo that, yeah, like I don't know. I feel like just for the meme value out of it,
Yeah.
like I'll still run both the cards. Like honestly, if you have the mana for Kiki-Jiki and Zell's conscripts and you play them both on the same turn, I think that's okay.
I have a
Oh, yeah,
Especially if
I'm
they're
not
both in 99.
I'm
What
not against
about
the
what?
combo.
Yeah, I think it's totally a fine card to play. You're gonna try to get your value with it, and you're gonna probably die. But I am
Yeah.
very curious. What do you think about Splinter Twin? Like I like as just a value piece. I don't even have.
I think it's just not
this
very
one's so
good.
recent.
I wouldn't
Like, I think
believe.
that's kind of the cool
Actually,
thing about Kiki-Jiki is you can change the target every turn, right? So no matter
Right.
what, like what you have on the battlefield, you can get some value out of it. Splinter Twin is much more locked into the one thing. Plus, there's a lot of ways of getting blown out with instant speed removal. So I don't really think Splinter Twin's very powerful, but I think it less scary because once it's on the battlefield, if it's not on a combo piece, it's not like you can just shift it to the combo the next turn. Then you're kind of like safe from the combo. So I think it's less scary. It would draw less heat from me.
I think I would still just jam a Splinter Twin if I had a commander that had a powerful enough like enter the battlefield or like death trigger. I feel like that's kind of just cool. Like, yeah, okay, I could get blown out, but if I'm running a lot of protection for my commander specifically, maybe it's something that would be worth trying. I don't think I've ever tried it in any commander deck, which is very weird. Maybe it's because it's expensive still. Do people keep buying Splinter Twin just hoping it gets unbanned? Like, why is it like $18?
It's
$30.
Wait, it's unbanned?
Yeah, they unbanned it
no.
in December. Yeah, a few months ago, and that is like
did it
super high
break
in
modern?
price. No, it's horrible.
Nope.
It's unplayable.
Didn't they keep it banned for like 10 years? And they're like,
Yes.
we can't unban this card. It broke modern. It's very unhealthy, and it did nothing. You're saying it did nothing?
Yep.
Well,
No,
for the
it's-
first
it's-
week
yeah.
or so, everyone forced it, and I think
Everyone
one
tried
lived.
it, yeah,
Uh,
but it
That's
is
so
not
sad.
a competitive card.
I
All
play
right.
Springheart Nantuko in every deck, and I think if you play, I play this way above Splinter Twin, and it does very similar things, and it's in a better color. Woohoo.
And
Sure.
And there's a lot of other options, right? You have like Jaxus and Jolly Balloon Man. Like if you do want to go like you want to copy things for value and fun.
Okay.
The problem with Kiki-Jiki is it's so repeatable that whenever you play this, people are going to think, oh no, they're about to go infinite. If it's a Jolly Balloon Man or a Jaxus or any of those other effects, though, I think those are way better for playing for value. They just don't have the same level of fear attached to them because people don't think of them as easy infinite combo pieces. So that's probably the direction I'd go if I wanted that effect without getting killed immediately.
I would even play Twin Flames over Kiki-Jiki. Like things like that, like the red clone effects.
Zada
yeah.
loves Twin
I-
Flames.
I also love Fable the Mirror Breaker, Reflections of Kiki.
Oh, yeah,
That
no.
card's like,
Okay.
I think you can play that in like any
For
red
value.
commander
Oh
deck
my
and get
God,
value
The
out of it.
value.
Anyway, let's move back to the top of the order. Tomer, why don't you hit us up with a card that's so good it's bad?
Okay, I have this card that I got a lot of heat for, but I'm just gonna double down. Doubling season. I'm here to tell you yet again that this card is not worth it. It is good and it is bad, and you shouldn't run it. It is bad. No, play it if you like it. Obviously, I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna yuck people's yum, but if you were like, I'm gonna spend $30 on this card because I think it's gonna make my deck a lot better, I disagree. So doubling season, 5 mana green enchantment that says if an effect will create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead. If an effect will put one or more counters on a permanent you control, it puts twice that many counters on that permanent instead. So number one, if you want to make more tokens, I feel like there's just enchantments that do this for cheaper and just more efficiently. There's even a Planeswalker. A lot of them are in white, so maybe if you want more in green, but I would still say no, don't do this. And then second of all, the more interesting thing is you double the amount of counters put on permanents, which I think is still kind of unique. I don't think there's other enchantments that do this.
Branching Evolution, I think.
Of Warring Flex.
It's only +1/+1
Only
counters,
+1/+1
but Branching
counters,
Evolution, yeah.
I
Totally.
don't know. I feel like the best case is like Planeswalkers, but like here's the thing. 5 mana is still a lot, okay? 5 mana is about the threshold where I would want to start playing these doubling Panormonocon effects. I cut off at 4, okay? You cut off at 4. 5 mana to play this enchantment that does nothing by itself. And then, if you don't immediately follow up with, like, a Planeswalker that can immediately ultimate and you win the game, if you just say, like, oh, I'm going to play a doubling season, pass the turn, you're just basically announcing to everybody at the table, hi, I cannot untap with this. I either destroy this enchantment right now or destroy my face, because if I untap with this, I'm probably going to win the game. The problem is that I've seen this played so many times, and then every single time it's played, the person's face is destroyed or the enchantment's destroyed. And you've either time walked yourself and went down a card for no reason, or you're out of the game, which is even worse. I just never seen this card do anything. It just said it's bad.
Nah, you've never.
It was my favorite
really?
card, isn't
it?
There's gotta be
Never.
times you've seen doubling season pop off.
People
I don't know
know
if I
that it
believe
needs to go.
never.
It's like imagine if you, I don't know, you played I don't know, the Bolas of Citadel, and you're like, oh, it's a land on top, I'm not gonna do anything pass. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna die next, and people
I-
are gonna have to kill you.
I'll meet you halfway on it, though. I love doubling season, but I will meet you halfway. I still think doubling season is very strong, and I think that even at 5 mana, it's not that unrealistic in a green deck to doubling season and Planeswalker in the same turn and just like win the game on the spot. But I do think that just like running this out on turn 5 and being like, oh, next turn I'm going to get value out of it, or I'm setting up for the future, like that is a guaranteed way to get murdered. Like I totally 100% agree with you. So I think there's ways you can play doubling season where it can be very powerful, but I'm not sure that's how people generally play it. I think people might play it in other ways that leads to them dying. So I think you're like right, although I still think doubling season can be good in the right deck if you play it properly.
I think this card is kind of mediocre. But it sounds like, Tomer, you think it's bad, not so good that it's bad.
I think it lowers your win percentage if you play it.
Okay,
I think
because
I think it's actively harmful to your game plan.
well, because like I ask only because when I was coming up with my list, like, should I put Esper Sentinel on here? But I was like, no, Esper Sentinel's just not good, so I'm just not putting it on.
No, my God.
No, like,
I thought I had the spicy
yeah,
take.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow.
But you know what? Okay. If you think doubling season lowers your percentage because it's so good, then okay. I mean, yeah. If you play this, there's no amount of politicking. There are no master classes that Richard could host for you to like keep this card or
Yeah.
Lynn, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way you're gonna do that. So you're right. For 5 mana, you're gonna have to spend a lot of turns, and a lot of them are gonna be super clunky, right? So, yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't really play this anymore, and I don't own the cute cat version, so I don't really care for it. But
There's
does
a
it
cute goose
do-
version too. I think it's like
oh,
anime.
the
that
anime.
one's
I
good.
have the anime goose version, but like I want that cute cat one from Foundations. But as someone who plays even with like my Super Friends deck, I don't even play green, so I never really. You don't need it. You have Deep Glow Skate. You have better ways to get around it. Right?
I think Deep Glow Skate is legit better because your opponents can't like play around that. Like, yeah, okay, you have Planeswalkers. That doesn't change the having a Deep Glow Skate in your deck doesn't change the math that everybody's gonna kill your Super Friends anyway. So if your Super Friends manage to survive for a single turn, that's what your entire deck is built around. A Deep Glow Skate out of left field with the steel chair,
off
just out
the
of
top
nowhere,
rope for sure.
off the top of rope, and then boom, I immediately ult. Like it's that's my game.
I don't
the only
know.
thing I
You
like
can't-
about
they
it is that
enter
it
with double
doubles
counters.
the doubling of counters. You can get another effects, but also the doubling of
Yeah.
tokens you can also get in other ways as well.
Yeah,
right?
Doubling is
So
much
that's my
easier.
problem with it. Like, I feel like it does everything, and it does everything very good besides not doing anything by itself. So it doubles everything by itself pretty good. The problem is, usually you don't play a token deck that also runs Planeswalkers and counters, so you only need one of those
Elspeth.
effects.
the new
Yeah,
Elspeth
you can
is
have
really
Elspeth
good.
It's
The
in
other stuff
white.
too. You need to be in white, but you won't.
There's
play
parallel
tokens, right?
lives,
Caretaker's
though.
talent, whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing is Planeswalkers, I think, because I think Vorinclex is the only one that also doubles counters, loyalty counters. So, yeah, for Planeswalkers, I would still say it's very good. Otherwise, yeah, it does nothing. It's kind of like playing a Fiery Emancipation triple all damage pass. Like, if you can't follow this up, you just get killed for it, hopefully.
Yeah, you deserve to get killed for it, I think, in that scenario. All right, let's keep moving forward. Krim, what do you got for us?
This is another card I really like, but yeah, it's Revel in Riches. 4 and a black. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you create a treasure, and then on top of that, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. I have tried to use this as ramp. You know what I mean? Like, as a way to just generate value for all the removal, the mass edicts, all of that stuff, and it's really good. And because it's so good, I swear, I never get to keep this. Anytime anybody plays it, they never get to keep it, or they never live long enough to hit that upkeep. This is one of those things where I do not think you can ever play this as a fair card. If it is there, it is very obvious as a statement what's about to happen, especially in the color of black, where you are loaded with removal. In a turn cycle, I could easily just get to 10 treasures. So, I don't know. I think this card is so good that I have now stopped playing it as much in my decks.
We need a
I got
Revel
it
in
for my
Riches
Mono's
that doesn't
Kaiga
win the
deck.
game.
Because of this. I like
I
the
was
effect
thinking-
of getting tokens, treasures for killing stuff, especially if I draw cards for it. But the problem was, first of all, I found myself in the position where people said, I can't draft the board because then Phil wins.
Yep.
And then we just end up with this huge board and nobody can do something about it. Except for me, who didn't play drafts, I guess.
You could
Also,
draft
you
and
just
win
get
the game.
killed preemptively if they say, oh, no, we can't, because they know they're going to forget about this at some point, and then somebody rafts and they say, oops, so why not just kill me? And I'm already pushing it when I play Manu's Kaiga, so I just said, this is out.
And even if they blow up the board, give you those treasures, and then like answer the enchantment, they still just fed you a ton of treasures.
Yeah, I think there's life insurance would be a Revel in Riches that doesn't kill you, but
The Orzhov
then
card
it literally kills
that
you
card
because
that
you
card is
lose
sweet.
life, I think.
Yeah, you
And
lose
it's
life,
That card
but it
had
has a
so much
support.
hype when it was
It's not
spoiled.
token.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
also non-token.
Yeah.
And you
yeah,
lose a
it's
life,
not at all
but
the
you do get
same.
extort.
It's close.
It's on your
it's
own
close.
creatures.
I
I
feel-
think it would be actually a lot better if it didn't have the upkeep you win the game. It would be a lot less
Yeah.
interesting, but it would probably play better.
Because that's the scary
A
part,
creature
right?
would
Like,
be nice with this.
you're always thinking, once it's on the battlefield, like, in any turn cycle, like, if the player that has it has mana up, they could kill stuff instant speed, like, something could happen and they could just win the game. So it's really hard to play a normal game of Commander once it comes out, assuming there's, like, a few creatures on the battlefield, because you're just always in this constant fear that you're just going to die. So the solution is, you got to kill the Revel in Riches or kill the Revel in Riches player. So I think that's the big part of the problem. Like, the win the game mode is cool, but I think it'd be more powerful in some ways if it didn't exist, or it's safer to play at least if it didn't exist.
Or a higher treasure count, because 10 treasures is actually not that high.
No.
You can do
Especially
this without
yeah.
triggering this.
it made more sense when they first printed this card. This was printed
Yes,
before
this
the
is the first
huge
treasure.
proliferation of treasures.
Yeah.
And then Wizards decided we're going to go super hard on treasures. And now 10 treasures is super easy to get. So
I also vaguely remember, I don't know if anybody remembers the exact game, but I remember there was like a Commander clash where like, I think like Seth had a Revel in Riches and then somebody else like wiped the board, or it was like Seth wiped the board as somebody else had Revel in Riches. And we just
think it
like
was me.
forgot the Revel in Riches
Yeah, you
was on the
forget about it.
battlefield.
yeah.
And then like,
Yep.
it was just like, that person won the game. I was like,
I do
oh.
remember that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that was the only time that the Revel Riches was actually like very effective in that regard. Otherwise, I feel like it's usually a liability. Yeah.
Wasn't that a Moto era?
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
the
it was a
motto.
Moto.
Yeah,
It
so
was a
that's
long
why.
time
Because
ago.
Moto, you're not
You-
going to see anything, right? You're just like, oh, a little picture.
So have you cut this from all your decks, Krim, or do you still play it in some of them?
I only play it in one deck, and it's my Deadpool deck, and that's it.
Okay.
You're the problem
already
anyway
the
when you play
enemy,
Deadpool. So
Yeah, I'm already the enemy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swap things, and if
Embrace
they
it.
want to get rid of the thing that I've swapped text boxes with, that gives me a treasure. So yeah.
Well, let's keep moving on. I got a good one, I think. One of my favorite cards, Elesh Norn, Mother of the Machine. So, Elesh Norn, 5 mana, 4/7 Praetor. It is Vigilance, and it says when if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent that you control the trigger, it triggers an additional time. So essentially a Panharmonicon, but also permanents entering the battlefield don't cause the abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. So Elesh Norn was a card I was really excited about because I love Panharmonicons. There's nothing I love more than just like doubling up ETB triggers, my Mull Drifters, and generating value. And Elesh Norn is the best way to do that. It's the best Panharmonicon creature that they've ever made. The other mode, the Torpor Orb of shutting down your opponent's triggers, that
Oh, it's
mode
better than
is
Torpor Orb.
the problematic
Yeah.
mode. That's the mode that makes this card draw so much heat. The Panharmonicon mode, I think, is perfectly fine. We have so many Panharmonicons these days. I don't think anyone cares about you doubling your own ETB triggers, or if they do, they'll just kill your Elesh Norn or your Panharmonicon. But the Torpor Orb, the Super Torpor Orb mode, that just locks some decks out of the game. I've definitely had games at like Magic Cons or Command Fest where I'm playing a deck and someone plays an Elesh Norn, and I just look down, I'm like, my entire deck doesn't work. Like, I just didn't even build my deck thinking of Elesh Norn, but like my removal is stuff that triggers ETB, like enchantment removal or whatever. I don't have a sweeper in hand, and my entire deck just gets locked down. And I think the end result is this is a Panharmonicon that essentially requires people to kill you. Even if they don't care about the Panharmonicon effect, someone's going to be getting hurt by the Torpor Orb effect, and they're going to have to either kill your Elesh Norn, or if they can't kill your Elesh Norn because it's shutting down their removal, they're just going to have to try to kill you to go back to having a functional game. So I feel like that last mode actually like takes the card from being good to being so good that it actually becomes bad, and it just draws such an incredible amount of heat that I end up not playing it in even my Panharmonicon decks most of the time because it's too brutal.
Sheldon was right.
It is too brutal. Yeah.
We
That's
meme it, and he was right. You're saying the things he said.
I just wanted the
Although,
reason.
wait,
From a
why
commander
it's good.
perspective, perhaps, this card is also very relevant for Modern and Pioneer and Standards.
Those aren't real formats.
Not the
Love this game.
I
Too
am
soon?
honestly shocked this is on here.
No.
Like this to me is just like, oh, I don't know, it's just another card, I guess.
Yeah,
Really?
you don't
You
play
don't care about
Lolas.
Elesh Norn?
Yes, yes.
No, I mean, like I've gotten. Don't get me wrong, okay. I've been in the situation where I've been like, dang, this would be sick if I had this ETB. But like,
Yeah.
it's like anything else. If anything, even easier to answer than like say a Panharmonicon because it's on an artifact, right? Because it's attached to a body.
No. You can't. What if your answers are creatures, though, or anything that enters?
Yeah.
I
Well,
played
Ravenous
Land
Chupa-
Form
Good.
I don't think
and
I've
they-
ever built a deck where only my answers
Oh,
are.
I
on
have.
Like
ETB.
That's
half
why,
my
like,
decks
I
care
love
about
this.
ETB.
Because it's like, oh, you know what this hoses? Blink decks. And you know what?
Hey, oh.
Good.
A little-
Good. It's like watching two Blink decks like slap fight each other, and I'm just like over here. I'm like, let them fight. I move the popcorn. I'm eating. I'm like, yes, go after each other, Blink players. Yes. it's
I
so
once
good.
I played in a game where I'm like 2 players, none of them were me, both had an Elesh Norn.
Yeah.
One of them was a Blink deck, and they were like, yes, I'm going to double my ETBs. And the other one's like, no one gets ETBs. It's like, that's so depressing. I
So
love it.
good. So good.
This
I
one is
love
the
this
reason
card.
why I feel fine putting Oko in my decks. So when it gets, first of all, at first I didn't play Oko in my Civic card decks, but then when Elesh Norn came and it was
Wow.
there once,
You gotta have an
against
answer.
my Lonas deck, I thought, well, if they ain't playing fair, I ain't either. Now it's an elk. Hopefully,
Oh, yeah.
because all my card
Oko's
draw is also
hilarious.
ETBs. So I don't know.
Oh, it's so
I gotta get
brutal.
lucky.
It's like Iona. It's like Iona. The equivalent of what Iona does if you're like
Yeah,
a
it
monocolor
feels-
deck.
Okay,
If you're playing like
that's
if
not
you're
the
playing
No,
like
thing.
a
it
blink
does. It
deck or
does.
the
You
longest
not
deck or
say
whatever,
it can
it
be anything
it
other
has
than
that
blink
same
creatures.
feeling. It really
You
does.
can pass your board wipe,
And
you
it's
can
only
deal
5
with-
mana.
By that logic,
Board wipe and
like what
Civic?
Collector Oof could also be Iona to some players, right?
It's
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Yeah.
I bask in the blink players' tears. It's like, oh, every single card I have is a blink card. Woe is me. I don't have a single relevant
Wow,
ability.
no.
It's like
deck
No
building.
empathy
deck
here
building
today. My
issue. I'm
God.
sorry.
Tomer's
Yes.
feasting on salty tears of blink players over there.
Yeah. Ryan doesn't work anymore. Yes.
That's the funny thing. I don't even. There's not like there's a high number of blink players, right? I don't even like. I don't think this
There's
card does anything
punish.
more than just be a panharmonica. Like very
No.
rarely.
What?
Even my Mishra deck gets
There's-
sourced, but it's like it's
Sure,
Good.
random
every now
stuff.
and then.
Good.
Yeah,
There-
like some things
Okay.
get hosed. I'll admit that some things get hosed along the way, but like this really just feels like another panharmonica, but on a body.
I might be canceled. This
I hope
mean,
so.
I'm sure people are coming for you for
Coming
for the
after my
doubling season,
Panharmonicons.
but
Yeah.
the Elesh Norn is not that bad, guys. Come on, it's
and
not.
that
blink players
bad.
deserve Torpor Orb. How about that? It's like
Wow. All right, Phil. Apparently they don't buy my Elesh Norn pick. What do you got?
Well, I got another Praetor here,
Ooh.
and it is Sheoldred the Apocalypse. It's famously underrated and then insanely good, and still $75.
I'm guilty.
It's a 4 mana.
I am so
4 mana,
guilty.
4/5 death touch.
Yep.
Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. That's pretty cool. So you don't die because you gain life. But then whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. And that kills people insanely
Oh, yeah.
fast, even in Commander. And if I see this, I say, I'm sorry, but I have to kill you now because I want to draw some cards. It is a good blocker, and they gain life. But I will do anything in my power to stop this. It's like Orcish Bowmasters, but Orcish Bowmasters at least interacts. This one is a good blocker, and you gain some life, but that's not enough to stop the fury of 3 players that you just kill on accident because they like Seagate Restoration take 20 or something. Ugh.
Mhm.
I love this
But
card.
I think this card is great.
I love
Oh,
it.
It is
First
good.
off-
It is amazing. Yeah.
I think somewhere there's just we got to get that sound clip. I swear I think Seth and I rated this very lowly, very poorly with
Probably.
when we did it on
Probably.
the-
nothing.
Yeah. We didn't rank it
It's a
highly. I'm sure.
4/5.
A lot
It
of people
does
thought it
nothing.
was bad. Yeah,
I mean,
but
yeah. The card's like very good.
the one thing I don't like about this card, and this applies to all of these type of draw hate cards, is I don't like that they work with force draw effects. Like
No,
I don't
like
like that
wheels.
they combo with wheels. Yeah, they could have been worded in a way that like if a source your opponent controls has them draw cards, because they've done those type of things in the past. They didn't, and I wish they did. But like I like punishing draw people, and like please just like. Also, the people who get hurt the most with this are the people who are just like drawing cards and not
Can't we
doing
just have
anything?
fun? We're here for
not
fun.
doing anything. And I'm like, at least put like some removal in your deck so that you draw into some answer to it, please. And then I like it. I actually I don't like Orcish Bowmaster in multiplayer because it doesn't actually punish draw. It just lets you collude
Totally.
with the drawing player.
Yeah,
So it's like,
true.
oh yeah, if you draw 5 more cards, I'm gonna just like wipe the board out of everybody. And it's like, oh, and I have an infinite army too. So this one actually punishes the draw, and I like it.
Bowmasters is so good, it's good, but I feel like this. At least people try to kill you. You make it a little hard with the life gain and the big body, but
Yeah.
man, do I hate this. It's at least
it's
it kills you.
annoying.
I hate Elesh Norn more, probably. But
I don't play it either because I agree that it does put a big target on your head.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's worth that.
What are your thoughts on cards that are so good and can back it up? Because I think this card can back it up.
This one kind of backs it up. Yeah,
This is
one
like-
gives
this is
you
like
life
not like-
gain.
this one
Yeah,
goes,
like,
yeah.
I think it backs it up, right? It's
It's
I
a
think
4/5
Bowmasters
death
backs it
touch,
up.
and it gains
Yeah.
your life.
The
Like,
fact that
yeah,
it gains you a
and
bunch of life helps.
Doughty
yeah.
White Walker also backs it up, I think.
this might be
This
like
one-
be good enough to back
Yeah,
it
like
up.
I think it's
Maybe.
good enough to back it up too.
I don't think I
So,
played it because it's like $70.
Oh, it's
I mean,
so
okay,
expensive.
price restriction aside, because like I think every card on here is expensive.
Yeah, except for Conjurer's Closet, I guess.
Yeah. And it's just not a especially fun card. Like, it doesn't really do anything cool. Like, it just kind of like
No.
I don't know,
It
it
Steph.
just
I
kind
think
of
it does.
pokes
okay.
people for trying to play Magic. 'Cause
The player that draws cards all
Yeah,
day
me.
long thinks
Yes,
that
me,
it doesn't.
Grim.
But come on, there's got to be counterplay to those play styles, right?
Yeah, you
good.
have
Just
what is
one
it?
more
Alms
card.
Collector or whatever. What's the cat? You get the
Oh,
cat. There's
yeah.
plenty of counterplay.
Yeah,
It's funny, like all the other draw Hagens got game changer. Let Krim have something.
Yeah.
everything I love is a game changer. It's so
They hit Narset, they hit Notion Thief, they left him with Alms Collector. No one likes Alms Collector.
All right, let's move on to the third and final round. Tomer, give us one more card.
Okay, here's a card that I know is very good because I haven't followed the CDH scene in a while, but I know at least like a year ago it saw a lot of CDH play. So I think it's strong, but I would never run it because I think it puts too much hate on you. It's Drannith Magistrate. It's 2 white, 1 and a white, 2 mana, 1/3 creature, human wizard. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. So it stops you from casting stuff from exile, so like Cascade,
Not you,
Impulse
just your opponent.
Draw. Yeah, it stops your opponents from Cascade, Exile, Impulse Draw, casting spells from the graveyard, anywhere other than their hands. And importantly for commander players, it also prevents people from casting stuff from the command zone. So literally, if Drannith Magistrate is on the battlefield, your opponents can't cast their commanders. So this card is very, very effective at shutting down a lot of decks, because a lot of decks in Commander are based on their commander. So if you run this out super early and they can't get their commander out, usually their engine is attached to their commander, and it's very good at slowing them down a lot. Now, in my experience, I put this in a bunch of white decks at the beginning when it was first printed, and it was very effective at doing one thing: basically just handing the game to the scariest commander at the table. Like, for example, I play this because I don't want the Maelstrom Wanderer player to just do the Maelstrom Wanderer things, hit my 7/6 with haste and cascade, and everything has haste and blah, 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 blah. And if you kill it, I thank you, because now I can cast it again. I can cascade. It's like, no, stop that. Drannith Magistrate. But the problem is that it annoys the rest of the table too. So the rest of the people with their like chill commander list is like, hey, I want to play my commander. Screw you. I'm going to kill it. And so you become the problem. You get taken out. And then the Maelstrom Wanderers player is like, da-da-da-da, it's my time now. And then they just crush over the table.
And they remember that you were shutting them down, so they come at you first.
Yes. And I'm like, I've tried to save us from him.
I think Drannith Magistrate's very much perfect for this list for me, because it's also just a 1/3, so it dies to everything. It doesn't have a big impact on the battlefield, and it just makes people see red and go after it. Even me, I am the person in our play group who cares the least about playing my commander, but if someone plays a Drannith Magistrate, for some reason, that's the game where I just really want to play my commander for some reason, so it's gotta go, or you gotta go so I can play my commander. So yeah, it has that. It seems like it should be a good hate card to slow down the most powerful deck, but as you said, in practice, it's just gonna get you murdered.
I mean, yeah, I think the card is also just bad. Like flat out bad. I like the card for like some of my decks that are like aggro, like humans and whatnot, but most of the time it's because it says human on the type line that I care about it more than anything else. This card is kind of bad. Outside of a human deck, it is pretty bad.
Like in CDH, the idea is that if you could slow down all your opponents for just 2 turns or something like that, then it's probably enough for you to win the game. But in casual, if we're running for 11 turns, that's 11 turns of your opponents building up a grudge against you. and
Yep.
attacking you, and then eventually removing it, and they're still attacking you because they remember that you played the stupid magistrate earlier. And I'm like, God, I'm just trying to save us from the broken commander over there. And then like a broken commander comes out, like, don't worry, guys, I got this, and they just win the game.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like Drannith Magistrate. Oh, all right, let's move on to Grim. Grim, what do you got for us for our last round?
Since you all, for the most, like outside of Tomer, never seem to mention green cards, I'm gonna just choose one that I think is absurdly good: the Great Henge.
Ooh, ah.
I think this card is absurdly good, and when you play it, everything has to shift to that player. Because legitimately, they gain 2 life, whatever, but they draw a card every time a creature hits play. And it gets stronger. So whatever resources you've got, I think you have to direct it towards that Great Henge player because they're going to be able to chain through their deck. And they get 2 mana on top of that. I don't need to say much because I think we all know this card. It's like $70 or something for an obvious reason. This card is nuts. Also, by the way, it's never casted as a 9 mana spell.
No.
This one, I think, is so good it's good, though. Usually you just elf ball, even if you don't play elves once you play this. So I think this one, it just backs it up. You usually play it for 4 mana or something, and then it taps for 2, and you play like a dog, and then, wow.
Do tables usually go for the person who plays the Great Henge? Because I always see, like, maybe I'm just numb to it, because I just imagine the green just drawing all the cards, makes all the mana, ramps all the things, and it's like, if it wasn't the Great Henge, it's going to be Return to the Wild Speaker, I draw a billion cards, risk cards expertise, I draw a billion cards, and I cast a spell for free, I ramp a billion lands, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, yeah, it's just value, man. And who cares? It's green.
Those
That's what green does.
are misers, right? Like, they are one-offs.
I've already given up.
I like that. That's much easier than Great Henge, which also produces mana and continues to keep drawing cards and makes bigger bodies. So, yeah, I do think that this toes, like, pretty much is able to be right on that line where I think it also backs it up as well. It is very good, but I think this is one of those things where you just gotta kill them. You gotta send the whole house at them, and no matter what, you cannot let them politic their way into keeping this or living.
I hope we could do that.
I think you're right that you got to go after the Great Henge player, but I think I mostly agree with Phil that I think this is one of those cards that can, like, it can back it up pretty well because you gain so much life and your creatures are getting bigger and you're drawing so many cards. I feel like it can keep pace even if you're the arch enemy a lot of times once you start popping off with this card. So I feel like it can stand up to the heat that you take. But yeah, like it is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly strong. And I think it can be better than like Rishkar's expertise and so far, depending on the deck. Like it depends on your exact build, but there's some builds where I'd be way more scared of the Great Henge than a Return to the Wild Speaker or Rishkar's expertise. Well, let's move on to my last pick.
Insane.
Oh, you got something, Phil? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna reiterate. This one's so good. It's good, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Green players.
So for my last pick, I'm going to change it up. So initially, I was going to say Notion Thief, and I still think Notion Thief, but I feel like everything that we said about Sheoldred kind of applies to Notion Thief. It's kind of the same conversation about like shutting down card draw effects. So I'm going to go the absolute other direction, and we're going to go with Consecrated Sphinx. So Consecrated Sphinx, it's a card, it's a 6-drop. Actually, let me pull up the exact text. It's a 6 mana 4/6, and it says whenever opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. So Consecrated Sphinx comes down, and we're playing Commander, right? So you have 3 opponents. The first time around the table, even if no one's drawing any extra cards, it's going to draw you 6 cards because of your opponent's draw steps. But the upside is so much higher where once it says on the battlefield and people play a cantrip or any card draw effect, or God forbid someone clones it and you have 2 players that are triggering each other and going back and forth, it gets out of control super, super fast. It just buries the table in card advantage all by itself. And I feel like this is a card that's so strong and the card advantage that it generates is so immense that you pretty much have to take the person who plays this card and turn them into arch enemy right away. You either have to kill the Sphinx or kill that person, or they will win the game probably within 1 or 2 turn cycles. They'll just have so many cards at their disposal that it's going to be impossible to deal with the person. So it is a really, really powerful effect because of the amount of cards that it draws, but it doesn't really protect itself in any way. It doesn't really defend you all that well. Yeah, like sure, you get 1 decently sized flying body, but that's really all you get out of it. So I think the amount of heat that this draws is just so much that a lot of times ends up getting you killed because players know that if it sticks around, it's just going to win you the game.
And the 4/6 body is pretty good, though.
That's not bad, but it's still just 1 body. You're a blue deck. You're probably not going that wide.
I feel like this is also in the so good it's good category.
Yeah.
Although I don't remember the last time I played it. Like maybe
we
it's
usually
like
don't
$30.
It also feels a little like you're not working for it.
It's
Yeah.
Kind of
usually
literally
it's
because
just
when
beyond.
your opponent works with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get numbed to it, like the thing Thomas said
There's
about
none
Great
to
Henge.
it.
If somebody plays this, I just say, yep, they're drawing literally all the cards, and I
They're
kind of
doing
can't
the
do
thing.
anything about this. Yep.
It was funny, like when it showed up as a game changer recently. I was like, oh yeah, this card. I don't remember the last time I've seen it, honestly. But
Yeah, I guess
it
we
is
don't play
very,
it that
very
much on
good.
Clash either, do we? Come to
We
think of
don't,
it, it's
yeah.
been a while since we've seen one. Although I feel like usually when we see it, it pops off pretty hard.
Yeah, it's just too
Or your way.
generically good, I think. Because it's
Yeah.
just
I hate-
card draw without
do-
synergies.
I do hate this card though on an emotional level because this card is, now that I remember that it exists, this card is a Phyrexian. I
right.
very much dislike that it doesn't have the Phyrexian type line to it. Like, it has a Phyrexian watermark. It says "blessed by the hands of Jin Cataxian," and you look at that art and you tell me that's not a Phyrexian.
It does look
Sphinx?
pretty
It is.
Phyrexian, yeah.
And then they did a huge errata, making a bunch of creatures Phyrexian in preparation for will be one and all that stuff. And this one did not get it. My conspiracy theory on why this one did not is because they printed it in the secret lair drop, and it's like for the children's the sick kids hospital one. And it's like, oh, there's cute art of it with some children and all that stuff. And they're like, they could not put themselves in Aradia to be Phyrexian. The cowards. Come on. It would be 10 times funnier. That would be 10 times funnier. It was a Phyrexian Sphinx. Come on. And it should have been. And I feel like that was the only reason why it didn't. I rest my case.
It is weird it's not Phyrexian, now that you mention
Kinda,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, last card. It's up to you, Phil. Give us something good.
Yeah, so we recently seen this, and it also suffers from the problem of being half a combo piece. But this one, it's got some extra gravy to it. It's Exquisite Blood. 5 mana. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. So there's a lot of effects that when you gain life, they lose a life, and then this goes infinite. So already pretty scary. The problem with this is people kind of have to attack you, because if they attack somebody else, you gain life. So they kind of are extra incentivized to
Forces
attack
them, yeah.
you, because otherwise they know they're never gonna. We had to get rid of this. So no spoilers when we saw this, but yeah, you kind of have to get rid of this, otherwise the player will gain like 60 life or something
For doing nothing.
for doing nothing, and then you kind of have to attack them, or it just gets worse than the table. It's pretty easy to make an argument for attacking the Exquisite Blood player once it's out there, or focusing them. It's also half a combo piece, so better kill him.
Yeah.
It is pretty good though at life gaining.
It does, yeah, like a surprising amount of life gain. You don't even think about how much that is until, like you said, people start attacking each other, and the person with the Exquisite Blood just
cracking
gains
fetches.
so
Like,
much
I
life.
gained
Yeah,
10.
just
It's
like
like,
every
why?
night.
Oh,
Yeah, what's going on? But I think the combo piece part is the scariest part. Like, if I see this, I'm expecting sooner or later you're going to combo with it. And I guess you can argue that you don't have a combo with it, and I still don't really believe you. Like, it's a tough sell
Maybe
to
you
get
just
me to
don't
actually
know.
believe that, like, you wouldn't accidentally, like, yeah, maybe you didn't put a combo in your deck, but that doesn't mean there isn't some synergy that you didn't really think through that is gonna, like, pop off and make this card, like, take over the game. So, yeah, I think this is definitely one of those cards. If you're gonna play it, I think you actually need to be playing the combo and be, like, just embracing being the arch enemy and like, I'm going to try to set up this combo and win. But just playing it for value seems like a really tough sell to me. But what do you think, Krim? I'm curious because I've seen you jam this card before without trying to combo with it. I'm curious like what your experience has been with it though.
I'm usually at such a high life total that because like that I don't care if people attack me, right?
It just
Like I
gains so much life
redirect
at
the
work.
traffic entirely at me, and rightfully so. But like I think this is a really good card just by itself without the combo. Just because
Yeah,
people are
it's
always
hell of a-
doing things that are gonna like ping themselves, and you're just gonna incidentally gain life, right? I really like this card just as a life gain piece. I urge you to try it just without a combo and just see how good it get. Like it's phenomenal without a combo.
Oh, really? Really? I mean, yeah, you get killed though. I hope so.
You'll get attacked. You're gonna 100% get attacked. But this one I'm not sure yet. This could be so good that it backs it up, but it also could be so good that it's bad. Right? This is the one where like it wavers back and forth because you're right. The people like that are going to be against you. They're all going to swing at you, and it depends on when you play this. I wouldn't just play this as a vanilla on curve 5. No, I would play this when I can swing, give myself enough life padding that there's no way I could die unless it's commander damage or something. Right? So this is a piece that it's all about when you deploy it, but I don't think you need the combo. I think this card is really good on its own.
I feel like I'm kind of leaning on so good it's bad just because, like, yes, it can gain you a bunch of life very, very easily. But the problem with like the redirecting the traffic to your face is that now your opponents aren't actively killing each other. Like, yeah, you're getting a lot of life and you can eat the hits that you're getting, but at the same time, now your opponents aren't getting their life totals lowered and stuff at the same time.
That's,
So
that kind of just
Sometimes you
pauses
set up
the game,
board
right?
states. You set up board states where it's like really awkward for them to bring it to you, right? Like it's like, okay, are you gonna
Yeah.
trade your best creatures in with my death touch? Right? Like,
But they won't attack each other. That's the problem. Is like they
sure,
could, like
sure.
if you didn't have it out, they could just like if you have death touchers or whatever, they could just hit each other, and that works in your favor because you're like, I'm just trying to lower their life total. Thank you, opponents, for doing it for me. But then if you play this, they stop doing that, and that's what
Yeah, that's fair.
that's what I'm hesitant about.
Oh, but what about an Ink Shield deck, Tomer? You play this, so
Yes,
they have to
go.
attack you, and then you
Dude.
get them with the Ink Shield.
You play like an Aikido deck where like you want to be hit, and then this forces everybody to hit you. Oh my god, that'd actually be so dope. I would
That's
definitely
not
put
kind
it
of sweet.
in that with an ink shield backing it up. Oh, so cool.
Anyway, those are cards that are so good they're bad. So you've heard our list. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you have any cards that you think are so good that they actually end up being bad or end up getting you killed? Love to hear what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast, and we'll be back next week with another one. So until then, have an amazing week, and this is a crew signing out.